when this clicked for me, okay? When this clicked for me, everything changed, okay? Everything changed. My relationship to me changed. In turn, my relationship to my partner changed drastically. Welcome back, my loves. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I saw in a TV show I was watching, and that is the Netflix's Ultimatum. It's where one person in a couple gives the other an ultimatum, and the other person at the end of the show has to answer whether or not they are going to marry them or they're going to leave them. Now, there's a young woman on the show who reminded me of a young me, and I sympathize with her so much, but here's what she's missing. And if you've seen the show, you know who I'm talking about. She is a woman who has been through a lot in her childhood. Okay, so she's had a tumultuous childhood, and now she's with someone who seems to be exerting a lot of effort into making her happy. Okay? And yet, when she comes on the show, she's immediately like, this person that I'm with doesn't meet my emotional needs. He doesn't show me that emotional connection, and I'm missing this emotional connection. And yet there are times in the show where she sort of contradicts herself, and she says that he's very like lovey-dovey, touchy, etc. And that's his love language, or that's how he shows love. Then there's a point in the show where he says, I have done XYZ for you. I've been thoughtful. I make you breakfast. How is it any different if you make me breakfast? And I make you breakfast and you think what you're doing is thoughtful, but what you think that I'm doing isn't thoughtful. And then he says, so you want me to meet all 5 love languages for you? And she says, yeah. And I had to pause. I had to pause because I was her, okay? And similar to her, I haven't seen a model relationship growing up. There was a lot of turbulence in my environment as a child. And so when I entered into a long-term relationship, I wasn't feeling that emotional connection with my partner. I was always missing something, okay? And I, similar to her, was asking my partner to do these things for me in order for me to feel connected to him, or feel connected. Yeah, that emotional connection. However, no matter what he did, I wasn't satisfied. I was pretty much insatiable. Similar to Haley, if you watch the show. Now, the thing that I want to talk about is when I saw her and when I saw this play out in real time, I realized just how far I have come in my healing journey. And I want to share this with you because if you're like her, like me, you are someone who needs to, or who can greatly benefit from learning how to meet your own needs. And I feel really passionately about this because when this clicked for me, okay, when this clicked for me, everything changed, okay? Everything changed. My relationship to me changed. In turn, my relationship to my partner changed drastically, okay? So there are a couple of layers here that I think that we need to unpack. And that the first layer being that if you didn't get your emotional needs met as a child, you have to do the great work, the sacred work of reparenting yourself and reparenting your inner child, okay? Because my breakthroughs happened when I sat with myself And I asked my inner child, hey, when things were so turbulent around you, when these things happened to you that shouldn't really have happened to a child, when you saw these things, what did you feel? And more importantly, what do you need from me? From me, an older version of you. What do you need from me in this moment? If we were to be transported into a moment that was not pleasant and you were there alone, right? So this is in meditation. Meeting your inner child, right? Going back to that spot where a certain fracture happened, a certain trauma happened, and you see your inner child and she's all alone, and you hold her hand and you say, what do you need from me? And sometimes she doesn't even need to use words. You just feel it. And sometimes it'll be as simple as giving your inner child a hug. A big hug, and saying, hey, even though this is happening to you right now, things are going to work out better than you even imagined in the future. There will be a point in time where things will get better. And even if they don't, it doesn't seem like that right now, I will be there for you, and I will hold you through these moments. And I'm getting emotional about this, but those are the moments where your deepest healing happens. And for me, and for people like Haley, you are not going to feel that emotional connection with your partner if you don't have an emotional connection with yourself. The most fulfillment I have felt is when I deeply connected with myself. The thing is that nobody can give that to us, ever. Okay? That deep healing, that deep emotional connection that we're oftentimes looking for can only be found within ourselves. Okay? And another layer to this is that no one person can ever meet every single one of your needs. Okay? This isn't realistic. And the reason why we get these notions is because we watch a lot of media that tells us of this one true love that will fulfill us forever and ever and ever. And it is fantasy, okay? And some romantic movies are great. They're very healthy. I love them. But a lot of the romantic love that we see portrayed in media is, I think it perpetuates a very harmful narrative and a harmful belief that when we internalize that this one person will come along and all of a sudden we'll be saved. No, it doesn't work like that. I have been there. I am still there sometimes, and I have to pull myself out of these places where I'm like, I am the only one who can make me happy. I am the only one that can really truly see myself. And then other people might come around and they might give me they might meet some of these other needs, and guess what? That's going to be a bonus for me. Okay? And like I said, a romantic partner isn't your end all be all. You also need community. You need friends, you need family, or whoever your community is, right? You need people to see you, to support you, especially if you haven't had your emotional needs met as a child. So, there are a couple of different things going on, right? When you're in partnership with someone and you want it to be a healthy relationship on both sides. But the most important thing is, if you watch the show and you see Haley talking about this, you can clearly see in real time that her needs bucket, okay, her needs bucket for emotional needs has a hole in it, okay? So when we have a giant need that hasn't been met in childhood, no matter how much someone pours into that bucket of ours, it will leak right out and you will never feel satisfied because you haven't received the primal, the deep healing that you really need. And that doesn't come from romantic love. Okay? It comes from you, it comes from reparenting. So if you are a Haley, if you are a me, I greatly empathize with you. But we want to do the work to become a more whole version of ourselves so that we're not looking for healing in the wrong places. We're not looking for healing through a romantic relationship. We're not asking one person to do it all, right? Because they can't. And the thing is that you probably can't either. Okay? Like, is she a great partner? I don't know, right? It doesn't seem like that. And so we have to observe ourselves in relationship. Relationships are excellent because you get to see your own patterns. You get to see, hey, what are you asking for and what are you offering in return? Are you an emotionally safe person to be around? And if you're not, that means that you're not an emotionally safe person for yourself, right? And unfortunately, these things probably happened at an earlier age and we kind of got stunted in that way, but it is our responsibility to do the work, and the work is, as always, deeply rewarding and deeply healing. The work is everything. So, meeting your own needs is the most empowering thing you can do for yourself. If you're here, if this helped you in any way, please let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, and let me know if I can be of service to you in any other way. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching.